Hang on. Are we live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Attention, approaching restricted area. Please scan credentials. Nerd credentials verified. Welcome to Area Nerdy 1. Please leave all lightsabers in off mode. All Pokémon must be accompanied by their trainer while in the facility. Please remember, Area Nerdy 1 is a joint containment facility with SCP, SHIELD, BPRD, and Star Labs. All time travelers and portal jumpers must check in with security. And please remember to stay nerdy at all times.
Hello and welcome to Area Nerdy 1. I am Jarrett. No, I am Jimmy.
And I am Jimmy.
And I'm let's see, where are you? We gotta get your visuals up. There we are. Okay. There's your beautiful face. All right. Thank you guys for
Hello.
hello. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, it's been a long time. What
Area Nerdy 1, the return.
what could possibly drag us back into the public eye, out of our malaise?
It'd have to be someone super strong. Maybe someone who's faster than a speeding bullet.
More powerful than a locomotive?
Can top, can jump tall buildings in a single bound.
Can do your taxes, I think.
Is it Henry Cavill? Not anymore.
Henry Cavill can do taxes. I guarantee that. But no,
Yes,
we are
he'd
we
do
are
no
here
wrong.
talking about Superman, the 2025 James Gunn version, obviously, and whatever other versions we stumble upon. I've trotted out the Superman shirt. I've trotted out my Superman Funko Pop because he doesn't see the light of day very often. But Jarrett, as I understand, you just saw this film today. Is that correct?
I just saw it today. So, and for anybody watching, I have not talked to Jimmy about this at all. I don't. He has not heard of any of my opinions on this at all. So this will be the first time.
And
So I'm
unless
gonna tell him.
unless the next words out of your mouth are "I loved it," no notes, I don't want to hear it. But pray continue.
So, first and foremost, I want to let everybody know I am a Batman fan. I think he's the best superhero ever. And I've never
Debatable.
ever been a Superman fan at all. It just never clicked with me. So, Jimmy, I say this sincerely.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I
Aha.
really get it. So I saw it in the theaters today, and as soon as I saw I was like kind of if and that about the whole thing. When it first started to open up with all the opening text crawl and whatnot, but then he started flying around, and like I was like, all right, yeah, I get it, I get it.
Yep. So, and for those of you who don't know or haven't tuned in on our past, like, what, 5 years that we've been doing this program, I am a huge,
Well, we
huge,
were
huge
gone for a little bit.
Yeah, we've been on hiatus for a while. We pulled a
Yeah,
Superman 4. But I have to go. My planet needs me.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
We just got tired of making movies, and we're like, I have to go. But I have been a huge Superman fan since I was an ankle biter. Um, yeah, it's I have many fixations, but Superman is definitely like top five. I'd say he's probably top three actually. So if
Really.
you can't tell, yes, it goes like in no particular order. It's like Sherlock Holmes, Superman, Star Wars are like my top three. And they,
Uh, well, for me, it's Game of Thrones, probably Star Wars, and then it would be Batman.
okay, so we can so that you see that's where we have the Venn diagram of interests at least. So
Exactly. Um, but
tell me about more about your experience, Jarrett.
about my experience. Well, first of all, I saw in I kind of there is the AMC-ness of it all. Everyone's like, oh, AMC theaters, 30 minutes of trailers and everything.
That's just movie
So I actually
theaters.
saw it. Yeah, it's movie theaters, but I saw it in the sensory sensitive showing today. So the lights were on a little bit, the sound was turned down a little bit, and I had a great time. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was as a singularly as a movie. I thought it was really well done, really well acted. Everyone was cast perfectly. Everything was designed perfectly. 10 out of 10, no notes.
All right, good. Exactly. That's what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Um,
The other thing is the only thing I didn't like is I loved the actual scenes of him being Clark Kent.
yeah,
I think I wanted a little bit more of that.
yeah, a little bit more Clark Kent. It would have been kind of fun to also to see the transition because you don't, the famous scene of Superman is he, goes into the phone booth and he comes out and he's Clark Kent. They never showed that transition, but it's kind of, I think it'd
Oh,
be
they
fun
didn't.
to see that. Um,
Yeah.
I had kind of an opposite experience because I went to see it the day it came out at the local drive-in, right? And
Of course.
of course I'm already a fan, so I'm already going to enjoy it. But people's drive-in etiquette that night was atrocious.
Ooh.
I don't. That's the first time we've had this experience. But I went with my wife. We got all set up. We backed in just as like the scene was opening, so we were there just in time. But through the entire
Yeah.
movie, people would not stop like turning on their cars, turning on their headlights. Like, so not only were we getting like brake lights, there were people up front like shining their lights at the screen. Like the scene where Superman's sitting down with Pa Kent and he's talking about.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, just
if
make
you
it-
haven't seen the movie, go see the movie.
It's been out for like a week and a half. Like, go see the movie. Or, spoiler alerts. It's you've been warned. So
Exactly.
so Pa Kent, this isn't even a major spoiler. So Pa Kent, it's basically the crux of the movie. The movie where Pa Kent's giving the pep talk to Clark, and Clark's kind of rejecting his, the reason he's there for Earth. And he's like, you are who you choose to be, etc. Right? It's the crux of it's really heartfelt moment.
The emotional center of the movie.
The emotional center of the movie. That's when the guy right next to us decided to turn his mufflerless truck on and let it run through the entire scene.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, yeah.
Oh.
So I like the whole movie. I was like alternating between like, oh my god, I just want to rip someone's head off right now, and that's not what Superman would want. No, he would want me to be a good person, like Zen. So it was a roller coaster ride for me emotionally.
Well, not to say anything, but because I went to the sensory sensitive showing, there were a lot of people there that were on the spectrum and who needed special accommodations, and it was very clear from start to finish that this was a movie that resonated with them, and that this is something that they something that not only was this theater able to accommodate them so they could experience this, but it was a story that spoke to them as well as people that that you are seen and you are loved, and even as you could see, Superman is the new punk rocker because he shows kindness to people and he understanding.
Yeah, I keep hearing people say, a moment like that was the moment I saw that was my Superman. I'm like, for me, like there were several moments, but that was the moment I saw that was our Superman. This was the Superman that they constructed for everyone.
My experience when I was like, this is my Superman, was when he's, has the heart to heart with Pa Kent. Growing up in rural areas, there's grass sticking up through the rocks that they're sitting on. It's like it's all very homey, and Clark Kent's just out there in his bare feet, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I did.
Yeah, he's like
that's something I did with my family. Going outside in the grass in our bare feet and stuff, and I was like, that's my Superman too.
Yeah, it's
Gotta get them feet out.
Yeah, it's where you feel comfortable at home. Like he's like, hey, no, I'm gonna eat my cereal barefoot on the porch. Like that's where home is. And then I've seen this take a few times, but I love it too. I love how just so much of a parent, how much parents Ma and Pa Kent were. Like the first scene where you see them and his mom's like leaning over the phone. It's like, hi Clark, we just wanted to tell you. It's like, that's my mom right there. That's And,
and Pa doesn't really say anything,
yeah,
you know.
he's sitting there. He could be dozing off. He could be listening. You don't know, but like, yeah, those are my parents right there. Yeah,
Exactly.
and
And I did see some people online talk about how they didn't like how Mom, Pa, Kent were cast. First and foremost, I think they did perfect casting.
mhm.
The actors did an amazing job. The, I don't care about how they looked. They acted like parents of a child who does a dangerous job.
Yeah,
They worry that they don't want him to worry. They call him 23 times, probably not to like get this, to see what's going on. They want to make sure he's okay.
yeah, and this is like really getting into the nitty gritty of it, but like they didn't act like they were actors. They acted like people a lot more than I've seen in other, like, like the most recent one was Kevin Costner, and he's a movie star, so every scene he's delivering these lines, and like it seems like, yeah, he knows exactly what to say in every moment, but like the way they were acting is like, Potkins, like, is our boy going to be okay? It's like, that looks like someone who just doesn't know what to say or what to do in that moment. Uh,
Yeah, everybody was probably told by James Gunn and the directors on set to do everything perfectly. It didn't feel, it felt like a world as well, that this was a actual world where metahumans exist. People had real concerns. There was real dialogue, and this felt very much like a natural world rather than, everybody wants to have that Marvel moment where it's like, oh, Iron Man's here, but Marvel never felt like a world where this is where these things happen,
yeah,
where like the extraordinary happens every day. It just feels like another Marvel movie. This felt like not just like a good DC movie, but it felt like a good superhuman movie.
yeah. So, and that did it quite deftly. Where a lot of, like, the one complaint that some people have, and this isn't really a complaint by me. It's just like it took me a while to absorb all the movie because it just moves so quickly and there's so much going on. And they, like, my wife Caitlin said, like, it felt like we showed up in the middle of a movie already happening, because the movie starts when he's in the middle of a fight, and he's dealing with that and goes to his Fortress of Solitude. So, but
Yeah.
so it's like this train is like already like roaring down the track, and we are hopping on like mid trip, but it didn't feel jarring or unnatural. It just felt like, yeah, I'm on board. They trusted the audience to keep up, and we did.
I think that's also a good point too, because they really, unlike most superhero movies that are starting up again, there is no, they usually start from the beginning, right?
Right.
Like Superman comes down, there's a baby, and it's his background story, his origin story, and they're like, nope, let's give you a title crawl, and all you need to know is that Superman is a person. That's all you need to know, and they got that through his origin story and his vulnerability through the actor and their dialogue and his actions.
Yeah. What, let's get a visual going. Let's throw up the poster here. Like, look at the visual of this poster. It's so striking. And the tagline is 2 words: look up. So
You know what? And yeah, I think everything about this movie, I know I said it was perfect. I think it was perfect, especially for where we are as DC fans and Superman fans. And I think this is a good transition to the actual themes of the movie and its juxtaposition where it was. So what do you think what did you think about the themes and how Superman is presented in this movie?
Oh, geez, you're making me actually like come up with a dissertation. I haven't written an essay without ChatGPT in a while, so it's going to be difficult for me to come up with something.
Use that ADD in your brain.
The themes are, so I think, so I likened this to the Barbie movie before anyone on TikTok said it. So I'd like to just take credit for that for myself right now. But like, its themes are somewhat simplistic in that it's basically just like, let's try to be better to each other and be like less dicks to each other. But it does it in a very smart way. Like, first of all, it gets the points across, but I don't feel like it's like spoon feeding people. But I also don't feel like it's burying it under a bunch of allegory. Looking at you, Zack Snyder. Jeez.
Oof. And I think you're right, but I think the theme is what it means to be human. I mean, the whole point of this movie is like people are seeing is the argument of how Superman fits in human society. He is an alien, you know, they're just like, you know, the automatic like, oh, he's an alien, he's different, therefore, you know, we don't trust him. But he proves his humanity not because of his differences, but despite of that, that he, you know, it doesn't matter where he came from. He's still raised by parents that love him. He still hurts. He still loves, and he still wants to do good in his society.
Yeah. So major spoiler about to drop right here. If you haven't seen it, major
Yes,
spoiler.
obviously.
If you honestly, I said I didn't care. I do care. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it and come back, because like it's first of all an experience, and I don't want to take that from anybody if you haven't experienced it already. So please do. Okay, you've been warned. Here on out. Okay. So of course, you know, in the course of the movie, we find out that the message that his Krypton parents left him was essentially use, you know, be Brightburn, take over the planet, start a harem, start a super secret harem that everyone knows about. And, you know, this really shakes Clark to his core. And at the end, and you know, and we see like in the beginning of the movie, he's using this hologram of his parents as like calm. He's like, the robots are like, would you like to see the recording of your parents? And at the end, they're like, would you like to see the recording of your parents? And it's his Earth parents. It's Ma and Pa Kent, and like that's the direction he decides to go. And so afterwards, Caitlin asked me, he's like, do you think the message was doctored by Lex Luthor? Do you think like the bad part of the message was created by Lex Luthor? And I said, you know, I thought about it for a minute. I was like, first of all, they might decide to go that direction, but I'm glad that they didn't for this movie, because I think it works way better for the themes and the direction of Clark and his character. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, he's choosing to, like, you know, it's like maybe that's his heritage, maybe that's the history of him and his people, but he's choosing, like, his better path forward, and, like, the way that his values that he was instilled, like, that, you know, are positive.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the idea. You know, he's truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. You know, he's looking like those are his three core values. And it's like, okay, maybe you know, his original mission was, you know, someone told you this is your original mission, this is what you need to do, but like that's not for a better tomorrow. That's not who I am. That's not the values that my loving, caring parents instilled in me. Right. Yeah. So I think that. I wonder if there's a James Gunn cut where they actually, you know, reveal that, oh yeah, the message was doctored by Lex Luthor, but I think that kind of cheapens it, because we've never seen this.
No, I don't think so. Because Lex Luthor, then that would mean that Lex Luthor is like the whole point is, especially even in the Zack Snyder verse, it's how Lex Luthor views Superman, right? And if he had to doctor this message, it kind of goes against the whole ethos of Lex Luthor, that he sees Superman as not only a danger but an antithesis of humanity, right? So if the message is as it was, as we see it, that only reinforces his belief.
So like if he had to go back and doctor it, it basically proves that Superman, it goes against his point. He thinks that Superman is evil inherently, or like bad inherently, and by doctoring it, he's basically having to come up with his own narrative rather than reality.
Correct.
Okay.
And like that's the point. Like, so Lex Luthor obviously in the movie has a god complex, that he was destined for greatness and betterment.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's get a visual up for Lex Luthor right now, because
Lexi boy.
Let's
first of all, and so when Superman comes in, it is just like this effortlessly loved, effortlessly, you know, from his point of view, powerful. That goes against his ethos, that he's the best man, he's the better man, he is the Superman.
Yeah.
And he even says like, yeah, it's because of envy. So if he has to, you know, doctor something to make him look bad, then that kind of goes against the ethos of that the movie is, and Lex Luthor himself. And the fact is that, yeah, Lex Luthor sees himself as perfect. He's smarter, he's richer, he's better, he's stronger, he's like he can intimidate people effortlessly without needing anything, right?
Yeah.
He can knock over a cup with pens and pencils in it, and people will go pick it up for him.
Yeah. Not only pick it up for him, they will gladly do it. So Uh,
They'll gladly do it.
yeah, so let's give
But
props
the
to
fact
Nicholas.
that
No, you
sorry,
go
what?
first. No, you go first. No, you
Yeah.
go first. No.
Well, so I was just saying that the fact that is that he's perfect. We don't know anything about his background because we don't need to. He is who he is to us, the audience, a already formed person, better than everybody else around him. So the fact is that Superman is flawed. He is human. You know, he has
Mhm.
an imperfect background. People who set him up to come to Earth imperfectly with malicious intent, and that he overcomes that. That's the point. Is that Lex Luthor can't get by that, and we that's why we sympathize with Superman more.
Yeah, and first of all, I just want to say we got to give props to Nicholas Hoult for this portrayal because,
Oh,
this is like
perfect.
Joffrey Baratheon level like jerk villain. Uh,
Did you know what happened behind the scenes?
no, what happened behind the scenes?
He auditioned for Superman.
I mean, he could,
Did you know that?
off the top of my head, I don't know if I could see it, but he could pull it off. If anyone, he's got
He
range.
could he could pull it off. But that isn't that great casting that a guy who wanted to be Superman got to be Lex Luthor. I mean, that if he didn't use that in his acting choices, I don't know what.
Yeah, when he's like in the Fortress South, he's like, I hate him. It's like
Yeah.
that's the rejection coming through.
Well, isn't that in your opinion as a Superman fan,
Mhm.
Lex Luthor does he hate Superman because he wants to be Superman? Is he jealous of Superman or is he a challenge?
So, super like Superman, Lex Luthor is a character that's been around for like 70 years. So he's gone through so many changes that you
Hmm.
can you can choose what along the timeline, whatever character you want. I've always seen him as sort of like, especially with this one, like he's smart enough and self-aware enough to know what his flaws are, but his narcissism is like so over encompassing that he can't get over that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like the one thing that he's like basically always had, is that he is so narcissistic that he's basically Doctor Doom. He is fully
Yeah.
capable of understanding his own flaws and like probably seeking help, but he does not want to. He truly believes that he is, God worthy. Uh, as for the challenge, like when I've seen him in Superman interact in the comics, like they straight up hate each other. Well, maybe Superman doesn't hate him, but Lex Luthor just straight up hates Superman. Like, so it's
Mm.
the challenge I think is secondary. He just straight up wants Superman to be wiped from the earth, and he thinks that he
Yeah.
and even when he does, there's this comic where for some I think it was because he got sick or something. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. But Superman was like MIA for a year, right? And so
Mm.
basically Lex Luthor like took over, and he's like, I'm gonna make the world a better place. But then he ended up basically just like starting wars and like shooting lasers at people. And when Superman finally came back and stopped him, he's like, you had a year without Superman to prove your point, and you just made the world a worse place and tried to get more power.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the crux of Lex Luthor. He is fixated on Superman, like you say, just because he is more powerful than him. Like there's no other reason. Um,
Yeah.
I really, so like looking at the live action Lex Luthor's, like you start
Mm.
with I'm blanking. Of course, I'm blanking on it right now. I rehearsed this like a million times.
Which one?
The very first one with Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman,
Oh
Gene
my.
Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, so Gene Hackman.
Yes.
So he's almost like you ever seen The Music Man? I forget the main character's name, but he's like that
Yeah.
guy from The Music Man, basically.
He's
Uh,
like he's actually I would say he's like Hades from Hercules. He's a car salesman with unlimited power and money.
exactly. All right, I gotta get a charger going, but can you vamp for like 1 minute while I get a charger?
Oh, can I vamp for 1 minute? Well, I think we should talk about the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, and that is Zack Snyder.
Go for it. You getting warmed up,
Um,
Jarritt?
Oh man, here we go. The reason why I think Zack Snyder's Superman didn't work and this one does work is I think we got a little too hung up as a fan base and as creators on the power of Superman. This is where we get a lot of the darker versions of Superman, like evil Superman, and we kind of lost track of what Superman truly is, which he was intended to be a symbol of hope and good and justice, like Jimmy said. So in that, I think this movie really brings us back to what Superman was and should be, as a symbol of hope and good. Zack Snyder, I think, is missed the mark. Unfortunately, I think he didn't understand what Superman truly was and is to the fan base. He's not just a he is yes he is a the most powerful member of the Justice League of America. He is the most powerful person in the DC universe, but his power does not define him. His actions do, and that's what this movie really does: is give him more actions than just punch people and saving people. It's going out of his way to save the people that need to be saved.
Okay,
I just like to say that made it in time. Actually, well, ran over.
All right. Okay. So you wanted to talk about Zack. Last I heard, we want to talk about both Zack Snyder and Lex Luthor, right?
Lex Luthor. I think the idea is so from Lex Luthor from Zack Snyder's verse is that Zack Snyder's version of Lex Luthor sees kind of Superman as quote a god. Is that it's not that he's not all powerful, he can't be all good, is that his inability to save him from his father and his distress makes him comparable to that. The fact is that he is all powerful, and the fact is that when he doesn't save people, that's his fault because he's not going out of he can't save them.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point. I do think Jesse Eisenberg did a good job with Lex Luthor. I just don't think there was not enough for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's face it, like Lex Luthor, it's like at least the past two live action versions have been based on like Silicon Valley tech moguls. Would you agree?
I agree heavily on that. I think they went much more like more like Elon Musk this time, and then but Jesse Eisenberg was more of a Facebook. What's his name?
Mark
Zuckerberg.
Well, that's who he plays. So that's probably why they cast him. But so I would say that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor was more like an actual Elon Musk, where he doesn't actually know how to do anything. So like, because one other big facet of Lex Luthor through the years is that he's a technological super genius. He makes like a Kryptonian a war suit that helps him fight, Superman. He's basically Iron Man meets Doctor Doom, and he's like very smart and capable. I didn't get that at all from Jesse Eisenberg's. Like maybe he could like do some coding. But then he gets into the Kryptonian spaceship and he's like puts Zod in the thing. It's like he's just doing stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I think also this because Zack Snyder just wanted a big. I'm sorry to any Zack Snyder fans, but Zack Snyder just wanted a transition into Doomsday. What Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor really should have done is that his super genius should be from like manipulating the system at hand.
And
the things that are in front of him.
Yeah, he kind of did that, but but the Nicholas Hoult version did that a lot better. Like, I would, but like to keep going with the allegory of like the Elon Musk. Like, so I think that Nicholas Holt's version is a lot more tech savvy and he's more capable, right? But like not as much as like say a Tony Stark would be. I feel like he could probably like drive and troubleshoot a Cybertruck, but he would still need his team to make one for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, I completely understand that. This will be also a good transition to what we think about the current Superman. How do you feel about the current actor and the suit?
First of all, David Corenswet, like he looks the part. First of all, he's a big guy with kind eyes, but like he is 10 out of 10. Like he's just got that genuine, his genuine nature comes through. And then of course you see him behind the scenes and he's just like a genuine sweet guy. He had this like little puppy, his own dog Ira, that was like followed him on set and he was wearing a little Superman suit. You see him behind the scenes with the kids who are extras and stuff, and he's like giving them high fives and chatting them up. And that's always been a secret ingredient to Superman for me, is that kids like him and he's good with kids.
I think he did. I think what Christopher Reeves did really well is that he made Superman and Clark Kent two distinct characters, and Cornsweet did that really well. The only thing I really didn't like about not Ben Affleck,
Cavill.
Henry Cavill, is that Superman and Clark Kent were fundamentally the same person.
He did not try at all.
He did not try at all. But that was the Zack Snyder verse was all about the cool factor, not about like anything else.
Yeah,
I
and
will still say that even though the Zack Snyder verse was not great, Ben Affleck is still my favorite Batman.
I could get behind that. Yeah, he's definitely got the best bat fight scenes. Uh,
Yeah,
so
but he also but like Corn Sweat, where he exudes that idea of hope and approachableness, right?
yeah,
Ben Affleck's Batman that's a Batman you do not want to approach.
yeah,
He exudes the fear factor.
yeah.
And that's what I really like. Although Robert Pattinson is amazing, I do think he does a great job. I just prefer my Batman a little bit more edgier,
Scary, edgelordy.
scarier.
Have you been reading?
Exactly.
Have you been reading Absolute Batman?
No, I can't get into the absolute verse yet. I feel like it's just too much for me right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more horror themed. So yeah, it's not for the faint of
Yeah.
heart. But that was one. We're just basically comparing and contrasting the Snyder universe at this point. But that was another thing. Like Henry
Well,
Cavill
that's
was.
that's if I cut you off real quick. I feel like the Snyderverse is our Game of Thrones season 8. You know,
Yeah,
there was so much setup and so much build up and so much fandom, but it just petered out so terribly. Like the setup wasn't even that good. No, they were just trying to marvelize it with a bunch of biceps and pecs, and then just kind of middling out into just James Gunn doing whatever he wants to do.
yeah, and like I said, the secret ingredient for me is always like kids feel like they could approach Superman and like tug on his cape and be like, I need help finding my dog or something, right?
Yeah.
And while Henry Cavill, he's a nerd, he's one of us, he's a Warhammer fan. He did his
Yeah.
absolute best with that role, and he played it really well. But I don't think I ever saw that character smile through that entire, movie franchise.
Yeah. If you could bring up the picture of Henry Cavill in his super suit, I just want to say that this is my second least favorite super suit of Superman that I've ever seen. It's simply put that it's too much. Zack Snyder biceps and pecs and all this other stuff to the max, and it's not. Nobody wants to approach that. Nobody wants to be like
Who's that guy?
saved by him.
Who was that guy in like the 80s who was like drawing X-Men and stuff, and he couldn't, and he just drew them like he just used Arnold Schwarzenegger as his reference for everybody. So like all the characters are
He couldn't
just
do
like,
feet.
and he couldn't draw feet, so like none of the
Yeah.
characters are shown, like they're always shown from like the ankles up. So yeah,
Yeah, but he does look strong. He looks strong, and like in my really long rant that I was doing, I think as a fandom and as directors we were looking too much at Superman for his strength. This looks like a strong guy, but that doesn't make sense to be a a superhero. You
Yeah.
can't just be a superhero.
yeah. There's a little bit of a fan service here. So we got to give a shout out to Julia and Olivia who are currently watching right now. Thank you for the support.
Hi.
You are super. You are the new
You
punk
are our
rockers.
supers.
So
But
yeah, so
this new super suit, it does look. He looks really good. He looks like a superhero.
yeah, so that's the class. So that's this is like basically based off the classic like original Superman suit. And our dad asked me recently, he's like, why are they wear the underwear on the outside? I was like, because it's based on the strongmen from circuses, like it's from 1930s circus strongmen, and it just kind of carried on. And that's a rap, so it's like but I forget if it was James Gunn or David Cornsweet who said it in an interview when they were talking about like the return to this original form. They were like, Superman wants to look like a pro wrestler. He wants, because like you said, kids and people see pro wrestlers and they, there's a positive reaction for that, and he wants people to be able to approach him and see that he's friendly.
To be fair, and in like the costume design, the Henry Cavill suit just goes there is no break. It's just the blue suit, and it looks strange because it looks like a onesie. The red shorts actually break up the suit very well and kind of make it a little bit more visually distinct. along with the yellow belt.
Yeah, so I think that like in the comics, the guy was called the Eradicator. He was like one of the four Supermen, and he had just like the continuous suit. So that's kind of like the look that Cavill had.
Snyder.
Or Snyder. Yeah. So,
But would you like to know what my least favorite super suit is?
well, we may as well. What's your least What's your least favorite super suit?
Least favorite super suit. It is the Nick Cage Superman super suit from The Flash. If you want to bring that up,
How dare you, sir? How dare you bring
that
that up?
is
How dare you two besmirch Cage's good looks here?
it's I that the Flash movie will just go down as a paradox and a strange what a strange movie.
I
And
think
just
that,
like
I don't think it'll go down as anything. I think they want that swept under the rug as quietly as possible at this point.
and I'm just realizing now, there's chest hair.
Of course there is. It's Nicolas
There's
Cage.
what a strange choice all around. This so that's my least favorite suit. I think all the others, like obviously somebody would bring up like the first super suit worn by, hang on, let me get his name. Hang on. Kirk Allen or George Reeves. Or even like the dated look of Christopher Reeve's suits, but those are of its time.
Yeah,
This is not of anyone's time. Nobody wanted this like CGI mess.
yeah. Just to get a little bit do a little bit of lore. So at some point, like after, I think it was before Superman Returns was supposed to come out, but Kevin Smith, like the director of Clerks, let me get your
Yeah.
video back up. There we go. Was supposed to direct a Superman movie, and it was going to be Superman Lives, and it was gonna. And I don't know if they had cast him, but it was definitely like rumored that Nick Cage was going to be Superman. So
There were there were pictures leaked of like him on set
yeah,
in a Jason super suit. But I think it got kind of like put shelved in production hell because obviously Superman Returns was coming in, and that was and it was kind of and that was like because there was like 19 years between Superman: The Quest for Peace, which was the last one done by Christopher Reeves before his tragic accident, and of course that movie did not perform well at all.
yeah.
And I think they kind of needed their own little reboot.
Yeah, and then so that was my so that you want to talk about like my Superman, like my formative Superman that came out when I was like
Yes.
probably like 10 years old, so I was like peak Superman, like I was the target audience, right? So
Right.
I was like stoked for that movie to come out. I think I saw that at the drive-in as well, and I just I like as a kid I'll watch anything, right? We
Right.
watch trash garbage and we're like it's great. I watched that movie and I was like that wasn't good. That wasn't
That was not good.
Kevin, it's like Kevin Spacey just played himself, first of all.
Its own yeah, but it was also so weird because we at that point in time we were also getting Batman Begins a year later, which was not the best movie ever, but definitely very good.
Yeah.
Like it was very grounded and really good. And then so Batman fans had a lot to work with. And then of course The Dark Knight, which people will say is their favorite movie ever, and they're not even superhero fans.
Yeah. Do you think? Well, here's a question. Do you, because we're just ping ponging everywhere. Do you think
Ping-ponging.
that this Superman movie will go down with the same gravitas as The Dark Knight?
In my own opinion, I think so because The Dark Knight spoke distinctly to a time where we were and had its own vision. Like Batman wasn't it was distinct because it went from this was after the Batman and Robin with George Clooney,
Yeah.
so this was like their hard reboot. And also Batman was very goofy and had its own stylized goings on. So these were those Batman for Batman Returns and Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises had its own voice. Um, I think it's the same thing with this Superman 2025. There's a reboot. It has its own voice and it's distinct. I think so. I think it's my top. It's my. You know what? I'm gonna say it. It's my number 2 Superman superhero movie ever.
What's your number one?
Batman. Robert Pattinson.
You mean the Batman?
The Batman.
The Batman. Okay.
I think they strike different chords. As you know, I love juxtapositions.
Hmm.
I love the fact that Superman is just straight up a hero. He is super, but it's the hero part that is, bold in his name.
Yeah.
Um, and for Robert Pattinson's Batman, it is darker, it is grittier, and that's what I like. I've always wanted to see more Batman where he is just a detective,
Yeah.
and that's what I like.
Yeah, so this isn't it's meant to be disparaging, but like I've seen the comparison that Batman's a cop versus Superman's a fireman. So Batman is looking to prevent crime or stop crime or react to crime, versus Superman is just looking to save lives. Actually, I think Superman's more of an EMT.
Yeah,
So he's more interested in like the saving of lives, and he'll like stop a natural disaster or something, but he like that's his main goal. And I love that. So I loved seeing that they used like showed his love of animals as a way to get across. He saves the squirrel, and when he's fighting the giant kaiju downtown, right? So he's
yeah,
he's like trying to stop the situation, but he's concerned for the kaiju safety, and
yeah.
that's a very very high level of empathy where it's like a wild scary animal, but you still have like you still just you don't want to see it hurt.
Yeah.
And there's
And
and then like the rest of the team's like, come on, we're dealing with a situation here, and he's like, fine, okay, but he's not happy about the way they do, like he doesn't like to see it like get hurt and like die painfully.
exactly. And I think for me, what really resonated with me is when he was talking to Lois Lane and he's like getting ready to go to look for a dog. And she goes, he's a dog, you don't have to go see him, save him. And he turns to her and says, well, he's alone and he's scared and I have to help him. And it's
Yeah.
like, and I think that just really, it's not that, it's just a, yeah, it's a dog, but it's the fact that he knows it's alone. He
Yeah.
knows that it's in danger. He has to go help.
And he's not even a dog person in this version. Like he doesn't even really like Crypto that much. He's just like watching
Yeah.
him for his cousin. But like I'm the same way. Like you and I, we didn't have like we had dogs, but they weren't like in the house or anything. So it's like I'm not really a dog person. But like if I'm watching a dog and like something happens to that dog, like heaven help whoever hurt it, because like
Exactly.
and that's that's he's like doesn't matter like what his personal feelings are about Crypto. He's not gonna let anything happen to that poor puppy.
No, absolutely. And and like when he's like, and we're going off on this, but when he is captured by Lex Luthor in the pocket dimension, he's like battling those people. His first and only thought is making sure that the baby that he's holding is safe.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
And
Like that's,
yeah, and he escapes
I
by
think
he escapes by reaching out to someone and like building a relationship, rather than
exactly.
force.
And the reason why I think we're talking about this a lot is that if anybody's watching, and hasn't partaken in superhero media very much lately, there has been a influx of a lot of superhero stuff lately. A lot of media,
Lately,
a lot of
like the
movies,
last 15
lately
years.
for a while. But what there has been a lot of in these movies and TV shows is a lot of casualties. Like in the first Superman movie that Henry Cavill was in, he was battling another super person, and there's a whole point where their battle levels a city, and there's a lot of casualties like involved. And a lot of the other media, like we have Homelander, who's an evil Superman, and we have what do you call it, Invincible. There's a lot of casualties in that show too. But it was refreshing to see that there's a Superman who went out of his way to ensure that there weren't like mass casualty events, and I really did love that, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
That it's not just all about death and horror, and when somebody is actually killed in front of him, he has a visceral reaction. He knew his name. He's crying about it too,
Yes.
and I think that idea of empathy is crucial for a hero.
All right, and shout out, just got a message. Shout out to our dad who's watching. So thanks, Super Dad. It's nice to
The real Superman in our life.
That's right, and it's. I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I'm wearing my shirt. I broke out the Superman shirt. This symbol, this shirt is not. It's got power. Like this isn't. It's not nothing. I've discovered that because I'll wear. I've got like 5 Superman shirts, right? I've got, so I wear my shirt out and about when I'm doing sports events, like martial arts stuff or like running. I wear like a Superman compression shirt, right? and people really respond positively to that. Like they want to come up and like say hi, and like and then I've got like the very consciously I went for a Clark Kent look with my glasses and stuff. But so people want to come up and say hi, and they want to joke with me. Like this one woman, I'm at this karate tournament, and I'm wearing the shirt, and one woman comes up to me, she's like, "Is it really you?" And I was like, "Shh, I'm reporting for the Daily Planet or something like that." And she's like just died laughing. It was and like kids want to come up and say hi, Superman. Hi, so like people it's like it's one thing. It's like, yeah, you could say these are just comics or cartoons and they're just for kids, etc. But like after decades of seeing this and like having like such positive reinforcement, people like definitely, I think, see Superman as a symbol of hope. They see the S, and they feel good about it.
Well, even in the movie, remember the S is lifted over that country, right? And it motivates other heroes to action from inaction.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't speak to like the power of symbols and the power of actual heroism, I don't know what would. When you walk around and you wear that S, you're inspiring hope in other people, even though it's it's just a superhero from a comic book and movies. You're right. There's real power behind that to motivate people to do good and have happiness.
Yeah, especially with this movie seems to have like just given out a bunch of hope core vibes to people, and like it's like made people want to try harder to be better people. So even if that's like just like a little ripple effect, like that's still a big deal. It's reaching a lot of people, and it's having a positive effect on people.
And I think one thing I really liked that I kind of didn't realize until now, how like a lot of hero movies at the end, the reprise is like the setup for the next movie, like I'll get you again, and then they turn around and there's another bad guy, right? There's none of that. This is a contained movie. At the end, there's a reprise, but Krypto and Superman are just on the moon looking at Earth, and that's it. That's the thesis. There's no setup for the next movie. There can be a next movie, or there can be a next time, but this is what it is. So this movie is what it is.
Did you see the second reprise?
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
There's a second reprise?
Yeah. So first of all, first of all, there's so there's the first reprise where it's just, like you say, it's just Krypto and Superman chilling out on the moon. It's fine. But then the second reprise is him and Mr. Terrific, and they're looking at this they're just standing next to a building, like looking at like the crack form, because the city like split in two and then came back together, right? So like they're just looking at this crack on this building that was split in two, and Superman's like, it's a little off, and Mr. Terrific goes, it's like, what, you want me to like put it back together again? So it's just, and he goes off, and like there's a fan theory that like that's James Gunn fixing the DC universe, where he's like, everyone, ourselves included, has got an opinion. He's like, what, you want me to like put it back together again?
Well, he's in a superhero universe. He's got to fix everything. Yeah.
So maybe go back. I'm probably gonna go back and see it a second time, because, like I said, my first theater experience was not optimal. So this time around, I might, wait till like I'll go in like, I don't know, a Sunday morning or something when no one's out, and go see it myself.
This movie also did fill me in with hope, because the other big franchise that I love and is near and dear to my heart is, of course, the Jurassic Park series. And this last movie was not good. The only movie I was ever closest to ever walking out on was Jurassic World Dominion. And that was really hard for me, because like I grew up with Jurassic Park. I grew up with dinosaurs. I love them, and to see that this franchise is not what it used to be, and it doesn't really understand or love what it was and what it truly is, kind of was disheartening. And to see that Superman understood its fan base and understood its source material to make not only a good movie with a good message, but is a good comic book movie, is awesome. It's terrific.
Yeah, it is terrific.
In fact,
it's like well, let's talk a little bit about Mr. Terrific and the Justice Gang. Let me see if we can bring this up. Okay, I don't have an image for it, but anyway, so the Justice Gang, which is the Green Lantern played by Nathan Fillion, Hawkgirl played
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner, the most broy of all the Green Lanterns. Hawkgirl played by Isabella Merced, and of course Mr. Terrific, played by Idai Gethigi. I probably am butchering his name. I apologize. But so Mr. Terrific, like, all of them are great, but Mr. Terrific, like, basically just dominates any scene that he's in, and is like, you know, I'd say probably the most important character besides Superman in this movie, because he's what I think Lex Luthor wants to be but doesn't know it. Like, Lex Luthor thinks he wants to be Superman, but he really wants to be Mr. Terrific, because Mr. Terrific is the guy who could make technology out of anything and like is like super self-sufficient, and it's just like Lex Luthor needs all this infrastructure. Mr. Terrific just needs himself.
And I think what really helps is that all these characters have their own distinct personalities and goals. The Justice Gang, with the Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific, they all have their own points of view, and they have butt heads, and they all do their own their own thing, and that was really refreshing. Hawkgirl, you know, was distinct from Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific.
She's just like so much rage.
So much rage too, but she has a character, you can tell that, and it's really strange. It's strange to see nowadays that characters are actually given the time and effort and love that they deserve.
Yeah, and then looks like we've got hold on a second. We got someone in the chat, but I'm trying to see what they're saying here.
Oh, they're saying, "Hey, what up?" Sorry about the chat being dead there, Ezran. But thank you for joining in.
Yep. So, but yeah. So let's do a little bit of a scene breakdown, because like Mr. Terrific's fight scene on the beach there is like so choice. Yes. And if you all know me and you've heard any of our podcasts, I'm all about like stunts and like fight scenes and choreography and stuff, right? So. Mm-hmm. This one was really cool because, first of all, you know, Mr. Terrific is just a cool character. He's got the T-spheres that are fighting for him, and with him, he's got, you know, the different technology he's using, and then he just also kicks ass like with his fists.
Yeah.
So, but then when they start this scene, like he's there with Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, who also was fantastic in this movie. And she's behind a force field while he's out there beating the shit out of all these scientists and like, you know, armored like guards and stuff, right? And over it is playing this song called 5 More Years, and it's 5 years time, I think. Anyway, so it's like this indie like pop, like, you know, easy listening folk song, but it, like, you could tell it fits the fight scene so well, right? Because like this is kind of James Gunn's signature move, where he drops the needle, he gets this song playing, and there's a fight scene or an action scene that, like, you know, just meshes with each other. And like it's a juxtaposition, because like I say, it's just like this easy listening, you know, folk song, but then it like the timing and the rhythm just matches up with the fight scene. So like it's like, you know, you remember the Kingsman with the church fight scene, and there's the, you know, Freebird is playing over it, right?
Right.
So that, you know, that was another example where they perfectly matched like the chaotic action with the song, but also like managed to like match the rhythm of the song with the fight choreography, which is like something I think quite difficult to do. I think they did that just as well, if not better, with this scene.
Fair enough. I also took I thought it was a really fun scene, but I also took away from it too. It's kind of like, it also kind of, in that scene, it validates all Lex Luthor's concerns that the humanity is unprepared, if, you know, to meet metahumans, right?
Yeah.
Even like someone like Mr. Terrific that on the power scale is not on the same level as Superman.
But he's not even a metahuman. He's just a smart guy.
He's just this really smart guy.
Yeah.
Can outperform like basically men in super suits, right? So I think that's very interesting, because even at the end, it's kind of set up, because the two, General Flagg and the senator, are sitting there. They're like, yeah, we don't control the situation anymore, and they have no ability to. Yeah, Superman is a great guy, and is admirable, and is a real hero. But if he's not around, or they have to contend with like a group of super villains that are on the same level as Terrific or worse, then what do?
They call in the Suicide Squad, which is okay. Do you think that this is going to lead to the JLA or the Suicide Squad?
Well, I Well, they already have the Creature Commandos, which is where the guy who plays Rick Flag Senior, General Flag, is Rick Flag. His voice is Rick Flag Senior in the
Yeah,
Creature
Frank
Commandos.
Grillo. They just animated Frank Grillo for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the Suicide Squad is going to be in it again in this universe. But I would love to see like again a rated R version where it's the juxtaposition where a lot of these films are family friendly and non-violent, where the Suicide Squad is just like they're just waiting for Superman to get a really really powerful person to throw in jail so they could use them later.
Well, so James Gunn has talked about this, the direction he's going to go, because I think the very next one they're working on is Supergirl. But they're
Yeah.
also, but like he's openly said that he's going to let each movie basically be its own thing. Like it's in the same universe, but it's its own thing. So like the
Oh,
upcoming,
you mean like how Marvel started?
even Marvel was like really uniform. You're talking like 90s and 2000s Marvels.
Oh yeah, like
You're
they're
talking,
their own thing.
you're talking about
And
like
the only
Elektra,
thing
Daredevil, Blade type stuff.
Yeah, but the only thing that really connected them together was that the Shield kept approaching them. That was the only thing that like really tied them together.
No, the only thing that kept them together was Stan Lee. Like he was ubiquitous
Fair
across all
enough.
these universes. But basically what James Gunn is saying, that with this DCU, like it's in the same universe, but like Clayface is coming. Like it's literally just a movie about Clayface, and he's like, it's going to be a body horror movie. So
Perfect.
yeah, so like
You
you're
know?
gonna have like family friendly things like Superman and probably Supergirl, but then you're gonna have things like Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker is actually the next one that's about to be released, which is
Okay.
very much an adult TV show.
Yeah.
And so I think that like first of all, it's it's using what Marvel did right, which is like keep it kind of cohesive under one guy, I guess, and then. But it's also like building on that. It's like, okay, you're tired of seeing like the same formulaic movie every time. Every movie is going to be a different direction. Every movie is going to be like because I think it kind of fits. I think it could fit because the characters like Clayface are scary and horrible versus a character like Superman is bright and friendly, and I think that it would reflect the different facets.
Again, I do like the juxtapositions on stuff. One side being, family friendly and good and like very approachable, which is that Superman movie versus, Clayface or Batman is going to be darker. I would love to see a Booster Gold movie. That's one I would love to see.
Booster Gold and Blue Beetle as like a buddy,
yeah.
as like a buddy comedy movie.
Well, I would like to see Booster Gold as a comedy, but like, when he's actually having to do superhero stuff, it becomes very serious because he's out of his depth. He's not trained for this kind of stuff. He's not up to the task of dealing with somebody like Clayface.
Yeah. So, what's the guy's name? He's like the new rom-com guy who's in a bunch of stuff. Let me see here. Bear with me for a second here. Do.
He was. You're not talking about the guy that was in the Eternals.
No, I'm talking about Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, so he's basically like they tried to make him the next heartthrob, like a rom-com guy, but it kind of failed. No, and he's a pretty good actor. I've seen him in some other stuff. He was in Hitman, which was really good. He would make a really good.
I heard that was good.
He would make a really good Booster Gold. He's got like the that kind of douchey bro look to him.
Yeah, and I think he has a range to give him like the nuances and be able to show that like he's kind of like a celebrity, but now he has to actually do like real work.
Yeah, I would say Glenn Powell is him, and like Bill Hader as Blue Beetle.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that's my fan cast. I don't, back to your fandom though. I don't think they've announced who the next Batman's going to be. So do you have a person who you'd like to see fill that slot?
It's going to be Robert Pattinson.
Well, that's
Unless there's news that he's been dropped.
I mean, that might be the next Batman movie, but like, is that in? I don't think that's in the Gunverse, right? The James Gunn universe, right?
It's not. Well, it's going to be. I think like you said, it's its own thing. Like, I always enjoyed Batman as his own. I know, like in the comics, he's part of the JLA and he does the teamwork stuff. But I would like to see him just doing his own thing. Like he doesn't do teams. Maybe he does brings a Robin on or something, but that's about it.
Okay, I just googled it because you know, the good Lord and Steve Jobs gave us the internet. Not really, but you know how that goes. Okay, let me get you back up. There we are. So
Batman Part 2 is Robert Pattinson has been cast, and that's supposed to be set for release on October 1st.
But it's not part of like the DCU. Like it's not part of it's a separate thing. So so it's like an Elseworlds type thing.
Oh, it's his own universe?
Yeah. You know, I will never forgive. I'll never forgive Marvel for making us have to have a universe for everything. Like, I hate that. I hate that. That's like part of my psyche now. Is that everything I'm watching is like, okay, so how does this universe connect? You know,
I don't like multiverse stuff anyway. If I fan casted the new Batman for this, I would say, yeah, let's just bring Ben Affleck back. I think he did a good job. Give him something to actually do. And he's bulky enough and old and grizzled enough to be a good foil to the young heartthrob, which is Superman.
Yeah, but guarantee Jason Momoa comes back as Lobo.
Oh, that would be a great one.
Well, apparently, like James Gunn had said that like he the day that it was announced that he was going to be helming the DC universe, he got a text from Jason Momoa. It just said Lobo. So he's on board.
He would be good, but I would also like if there's somebody that could play Aquaman and then Lobo beats the shit out of Aquaman and calls him like a pretender or a poser.
Yep. Yeah, who would be a good Aquaman?
Who? I mean, Glenn Powell would probably be a good Aquaman, but I think again, when you cast like the main JLA, it should be like. Somebody who's not really utilized a lot. Yes. Somebody who's not going to be.
They got to pull. Well, they got to pull a. They don't have to do anything, and they're not listening to me. But what they did and what kind of made the first iteration of the MCU so successful is that they pulled in Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth. They were like household. I wouldn't say they were household names, but they were like known. I'd say they were like B-level actors, and then this like skyrocketed them. They were like known quantities, but they were still like kind of somewhat below the radar talents. And this time they first of all they picked the perfect guy with David Corenswet again. So honestly, no notes when it comes to the casting. Like just keep doing what you're doing.
I think maybe Batman really needs to it's going to be interesting because he has to have that brooding atmosphere around him when he's Bruce Wayne, and a distinct look when he's Batman under the cowl too.
Oh, so here's an interesting. I saw someone have this take, and I've kind of adopted it. So like, when he's Bruce Wayne, right? Mm-hmm. He's got to be like a. Just kind of like a, he's got to be the kind of guy you're like, there's no way that guy's Batman, right?
Yeah.
So pick someone like let's see, who's just kind of like a semi douchey celebrity right now.
Let's see here. No, unfortunately we're at that point in the casting of major movies where we see the same person over and over again a lot. Who played a D-bag really well? I'm trying to think of the new. I haven't seen a lot of new movies lately.
Second. Let's. I just got this just in. Trisha Paytas named her son Aquaman. That's big news.
Trisha Paytas?
So I think that she's like a psychic or something. Hold on a second. Let's look this up because.
Oh no, she was on the Frenemies podcast. For her.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Okay. I've been too busy reading comic books and watching Superman, doing cool, awesome stuff. I haven't been keeping up on who Trisha Paytas is. But if she named her kid Aquaman, she's probably pretty chill though, right?
Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
Oh God, this is gonna come back to haunt me when I run for Congress. They're gonna be like, "Did you call Trisha Paytas chill on a podcast?" And I'll be like, "I didn't know. I didn't know who she was or what she stood for." That's always how it goes.
Your views on Trisha Paytas.
but apparently that's big news. So,
Well, you know what? No, but we're getting back to it. I'm going past it, Jimmy. I'm not saying anything. I don't care about Batman. Let's fan cast the real Batman. Are you ready for this?
okay, let's hear it.
Fan cast the Batman Beyond live action.
Oh shoot.
I would say old Batman should be either like actual George Clooney or Ben Affleck.
Going back to the Ben Affleck the guy. Let's see. Who is
But for like, yeah.
or maybe someone like Jeff Bridges would be a really good old Batman.
That would be good.
I don't like okay, so and then okay, so for Terry McGinnis, okay, first of all, right? So Terry McGinnis, like, are we just doing like a direct adaptation?
You know what?
You're gonna go.
Yeah, let's do like a direct adaptation.
Your screen's gonna go black, so people, just so you know, Jarritt's still here. It's just I am looking at like a web browser, and it's like, not letting me see his face right now. So we're doing a direct adaptation. So in Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis is like the next Batman. He's like 16 or 17, right?
Right.
So that means that we can have an actor from Hollywood who's like what, 35?
I'd say about 35.
I was joking. Like, you can't. No, of course not. Okay, so I mean, like,
The cast of Glee was like what, 40?
they had I've seen exactly one episode of Glee, and I was like, that child has 5 o'clock shadow. I don't even.
Yeah.
I'm looking up like actors in Hollywood. I don't even know who half these people are.
Oh.
Maybe.
I know he would be old. I think, obviously I think it would be, older. It would be an older actor, but I don't really give a shit. But Ken, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Windunga. He was the antagonist in the Paper Tigers movie.
Oh yeah. So he's so he's like well into his 30s. Maybe let's see what's some good martial artists. Geez, of course.
Unfortunately, when we were looking for like martial artists and people that fit like the physicality, they are going to skew older.
Dude, Ben Wang, he was just in the Karate Kids Legends movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was, for good age range. He's a tried and true martial artist. Let me get your video back up here. So it's fun. So I was looking up Hollywood actors in their teens.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came up was Thomas Brody Sangster, which if you look him up, he was the guy from like Maze Runner.
Really? Oh, he's
like
Thomas Brody.
That Thomas Brody Sangster. Look him up. You'll be like, oh, that guy. And he's like 35, but like apparently just keeps.
Jojen Reed.
Yeah, Jojen Reed. He keeps getting cast as a teenager because he looks like a child.
He'll never age.
But like Google was like, I was like, actors in their teens. Like, yeah, this guy. We know he's in his 30s, but like, come on.
Yeah. Like all the other Maze Runners actors are like in their 30s too.
But yeah, I'd say Ben Wang would be a good Terry McGinnis. And yeah, like I said, probably Jeff Bridges. Like I could see him as a good Bruce, like old angry Bruce Wayne.
That's fair. Or oh yeah, I would also say if he I don't know what he's like as a serious actor, but you know what, Will Arnett, if he could do a serious acting role, he's not like really old yet, but bringing him into a live action would be I think it would be a cool way to do that.
Well, he's already been the voice of Lego Batman, and I don't think that people are gonna look at him and take him seriously. Like, even if he is like killing it dramatically, like I'm gonna look at him and be like, hey, Lego Batman.
What is it, Terry? Are you chicken? Go.
All right, and
it's from Arrested Development. Anybody that's listening.
And I just was informed that Trisha Paytas is in fact super chill, so I think we're in the clear on that.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's
All right.
we are well over our allotted time. Do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
Yes, go see Superman if you haven't done that already. And if you have any suggestions or have any comments or questions or any subjects you would like us to talk to us about, message us on Instagram or Facebook, and we would be happy to mention you on live.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, Superman movie 10 out of 10 recommend. Everyone in this cast also just seems like a delight. Like all the behind the scenes stuff looks like they were having so much fun, and they're just such nice people.
Yeah.
And honestly, if nothing else, if you just want to feel good and like have a little, pep and motivation to feel like you want to be a better person, this is the movie for you. It's a hope core, masterpiece. So I 10 out of 10 recommend.
Well, I think that's all for us for right now. Any other final thoughts, Jim Jams?
No, let's try not to make another 3-year hiatus between stuff. We will come back. I have designated a new method for us to choose subjects, by the way.
Okay.
I have created a Wheel of Fortune like thing, and we were just going to spin the wheel and figure it out what our next subject is. So would you like to do that right now?
I'm sure. Why not?
Okay, let's bring it up. You guys aren't going to be able to see this, so you're just going to have to, take my word for it that what I'm saying is, in fact, what's on the screen. Okay, so among the options are things like Star Wars, Fallout, Has-Been Hotel, League of Legends. So basically as we, and like if you have subjects that you want to suggest to us, they will go on the wheel. Anything from as broad as like the MCU to as minute as like, let's say, the Tau for Warhammer 40k. Like whatever we want us to talk about, we will put it on the wheel. And then anything that we want to talk about, we'll put on the wheel. So we will decide what we are working on next time. So you ready, Jarrett?
I'm ready.
All right, spinning the wheel. And
Not even a little.
no, I turned off the sound effects. And it is Fallout.
Right on.
All right.
Wonder who the Fallout ex aficionado is.
I wonder if there's anyone on our team that is obsessed / fixated with Fallout.
That would be me. That would be me, baby boy.
That would be I, sir. Yes. All right. Excellent. Okay, so guys, check out Area Nerdy 1 across our social media platforms. Like, follow, share, and watch out for our next episode upcoming. We will be talking about Fallout, the show, the franchise, the games, whatever it is, falls under the umbrella.
The state of being, more like.
Yeah, the more of the philosophy that is Fallout. All right, so.
Well, excellent. Well, until next time, then.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out Area Nerd 1 across our platforms and follow us on social media. Once again, this has been Jimmy.
And this has been Jarrett.
All right, we're going to delete all this, right?
I wasn't recording, were you?